Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Girl, real talk. This whole "it's new year, time to reinvent myself" trash is not the vibe for 2024. You can find someone who loves you for you, as you are. You don't need to read a stack of self-help books, only eat sad salads, or start meditating at 5 a.m. to be ready for dating. So yeah, my advice is to download Bumble and find someone who embraces you the way you are right now. Let me know how it goes.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Hello, I'm Ann Harder. Welcome to Central Texas Living, the podcast. With the goal of helping women and children lift out of the bonds of poverty, Esther's Closet was created to provide practical help, providing interview and workplace clothing, as well as teaching skills for resume writing. That's pretty practical. But Esther's Closet is so much more. And here to tell us more, Rachel Pate, who is Vice President of Economic Development and founder of Esther's Closet, and Heaven Lee, who is Workforce Initiatives Coordinator for the Syntex African American Chamber. And it is great to have you ladies.
Thank you, Ann, for having us.
Thank you.
Now, Rachel, we've been knowing each other a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have just always known Esther's Closet. So how many years ago was that you?
It's been 5 years. I started shortly after the start of Esther's Closet, which was in March of 2016.
Okay.
And I came to the chamber in September of 2016. And fortunately for me, it was still a new program that was being grown and steered. So I happened to be the first Esther's Closet coordinator and got to oversee that program for about 2 years as it was getting off of the ground.
Well, it's just such a kind of a duh, what a great thing to have because so many people just don't have in their wardrobe what's appropriate to go for a job interview.
And I would say most people don't know, and that's the thing. You don't know sometimes what you don't know. And when you want to go somewhere new or you want to broaden your horizons, you may need someone to talk to you about those things and mentor you. So that's what Esther's Closet does. Some women come in and they're very comfortable finding something professional, but many of them are not, and they see themselves in those types of outfits only for special occasions or church, or maybe they have something they have to do. But day to day, most women don't dress up anymore. So when you're fortunate to find a position that meets your needs and the dress code is the only thing holding you back, Esther's Closet is a great resource for that.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
We remove them.
Well, and I was on your website and saw I love your page that you have for Esther's Closet because it tells how many outfits you have given away.
Absolutely. We have served hundreds of clients and provided thousands of outfits. Where we are now and taking things to the next development level is working on their workforce skills. So maybe in the future, we'll have a tally up there of how many people have gotten into new careers, how many clients have successfully made it to their next level. But our goal is to not only outfit you for the interview, but prepare you with all of the skills, the training, and the development that you need along the way to grow and prosper in that position.
Well, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for folks like me. I had a wardrobe that was specific for television, a lot of professional looking clothes. And I have yet to purge the closet, but it's coming to Esther's Closet because hopefully someone can use some of these garments. And I love the fact that you have one, what you do, what you commit to do for your clients. They'll get an outfit to attend their first interview. And then after they get the job, you will provide even more.
That is correct. To get into the interview and successfully go to the next level, now you have to be prepared for about 2 weeks before you get your first paycheck. So that's the idea in the return client that has become employed, that you can get 7 to 10 days worth of clothing, and you can save that money that you would have to spend and spend it elsewhere. We also provide incentives for continued employment or coming for special workshops. We are working with our new coordinator, Heaven, to do a voucher program so there can be other opportunities where you can secure, a great outfit for what you may need for your employment just through Esther's Closet.
Well, I want to bring Heaven into this because, first of all, I love your name. I just love your name, Heaven, and your last name is Lee.
Yes.
So you're Heaven Lee.
Heaven Lee.
And that's brilliant. And but you haven't been with the Syntax Chamber that long, right?
Right. So I've actually just reached my 3-month mark.
Okay, yeah.
On the 17th.
But now, are you new to Central Texas?
No, I'm actually a native of Waco.
Okay.
So I went to Stephen F. Austin and recently graduated, and I was able to return due to COVID. But now I'm sticking around in hometown, hoping to get some changes and help in our community. Well,
I mean, and this is such a great opportunity for you. What is it you want to see happen through your work there as the business initiatives
right
coordinator?
So with so many industries coming to Waco, it's really a time for all the women and people in general to have a shift in their workplace environments, whether it be for more money, to be closer to home, to be able to provide for their children. All these other resources have now came about. So I find it important for those people to get industry recognized training so that they're able to go to the work and be skilled already. And we're hoping that they're able to obtain higher wages and benefits, and also use Esther's Closet as their entryway and use the resources necessary.
We had just done a podcast very recently with the Christian Women's Job Corps, which I bet they send people your way.
They are great partners. Lydia Tate and her crew have always worked with Esther's Closet because we have a common community, women. Yes. So they're great allies and partners for us.
Well, and to be able to provide that training, provide the help. Practical, again, in their case, practical help of getting a GED, So it's wonderful that you both aren't kind of reinventing the wheel, that you're working hand in glove with each other with the common goal.
Absolutely.
And as they had some wonderful success stories. Do you have any success stories you can share with it? Come off to the top of your
Absolutely.
And I knew that when I asked it.
I love this because first I want to say everyone that comes to Esther's Closet is different. The thing that they may have in common is that they're a woman, but they come from different backgrounds. Some of them are older or younger. They can be college graduates or high school dropouts, but they all have a desire to succeed. And so they find us through that desire. Some of our candidates that have come through have done amazing things after, having just visited us. I will tell you, we had a young woman named Ashley Womack who ran for school board a couple of years ago. And she was an early Esther's Closet client within the first year that we were there. She came in and she not only used the services, but she also volunteered. She began giving back and helping in different campaigns. And so to see her develop and blossom and gain a sense of confidence where she wanted to step out in a public leadership role, that was phenomenal. There are women who've probably done great things here that have never gone into public service. So for her to go from, I'm a client in need, to I feel like I can give back and help someone is beautiful. We also have another stellar client that comes to mind, Shamika Evans, the owner of Waffle Chick. And again, one of our early clients that came in as they were using different resources, and Esther's Closet happened to be a partner in helping them get to where they needed. But Shamika's an owner of a successful business here. She's been operating her business maybe a little more than 2 years, and she's still growing it. I remember her working in a nonprofit and serving her chicken and waffles to having a small food trailer to now having purchased a large food truck. And so to be able to sit back and watch women in our community just take it to the next level, we are just happy to have been a part of it. We know that there are so many partners that play a role in strengthening these ladies and fortifying them with the skills. We want to be a conduit to introduce them. We want to be an encourager. And we've still had more ladies that have done even more. I've seen ladies that come in and say, I've got honored at my job, so now I need something just for the special event.
Yeah,
the special event that now I'm being honored for. And so those are just a few, but I'm sure if we track down all of our clients, we would have a ton of success stories. And what we hear more often than not is how appreciative those ladies are for the simple gift that we gave in clothing, how much that opened a door, or gave them confidence, or helped them to not worry about one more thing that was on their list. And I will say this, and I think all of your female listeners know, as women, and especially as mothers, you put everyone else first sometimes. You kind of save the money for the kids' school clothes, and you wear secondhand clothes, or you don't buy yourself new shoes because they're constantly growing. So when you can go into a boutique and someone like yourself has donated a wardrobe that was seen on the news, these are items that we would not normally go in and be able to pick a rack full of those and take them off. And so it is a great joy and shopping experience, but more than anything, it is empowering because that first step means they can get to the second, the third, the fourth, and so on.
Well, it's just an amazing thing, a simple thing, really, when you think about it. But you mentioned Shamika, and that leads us then to this fundraiser that is being planned. It is Women of Distinction.
Yes.
And they're empowering. And again, it's this wonderful concept of just, bringing that added level of confidence to someone. And Shamika's going to take part in the panel discussion, correct?
Well, actually, she is part of our video.
Oh,
we
okay.
have a special video presentation, and she will be there. I don't want to say too much about her part.
Okay.
But I will say there's a wonderful person I'd love to recognize who will be taking part, and that's you, Ann. And I mean that because you were our MC at our very first Esther's Closet 1-year anniversary celebration. And due to COVID and just the transition the whole community has been into, we weren't able to celebrate our last planned celebration before the start of the pandemic. And so it's taken us a while to get our ducks in a row and say what would be a good opportunity and a good time for us to come together to not only acknowledge 5 years for our program, but the success of our clients as well. So the Women of Distinction Luncheon is that it is recognition for everyone that has been a part. It is as important for us to recognize the clients as it is the donors and the community members that have taken part in growing that program. So we will have on our panel 3 great distinguished women. Our county commissioner, Patricia Miller, will be there. Sophia Young Malcolm, who's new back in a position of leadership at Baylor as the assistant director, I believe, for player development. But she's a standout, former Baylor star, WNBA player. She mentors, she speaks, she empowers women. And then we have also Jasmine Caldwell, who's an anchor and reporter with a local station here as well. And so being able to bring to the stage successful women is a great opportunity, but we are not looking for them to talk so much about their success. We want to talk about what it took to get there, because we know that everyone has had to overcome an obstacle. And these ladies, no matter how successful you see them in the lights and when they're out in public, they still understand what every other woman understands, is that it's not easy. And someone has to be there to give you a hand up, to give you an encouraging word, to empower you. And although we love to see men supporting women, there's something about women supporting women. There's a special bond between mothers and daughters and sisters and aunts that, you can talk about those things that are specific to us. And that's what we find, is that it's not just the clothes or just the job. There are other issues that women want addressed, and they want to be able to be heard on. And Esther's Closet is just a small part of getting them the resource, the help, or the outlet that they need.
Well, the goal is to really raise the awareness in the community, right, Heaven, of Esther's Closet and the work you're doing.
Right. So amongst providing clothes, we also are looking forward to extending our program with space. We are also looking to include men. Although we're still going to focus on the women, included, of course, we would like to add men to our program, even if it would be a more so of a
Kind of a partnership.
Yeah.
partnership
Yeah.
between
Well,
organizations.
but because, I mean, they've got to go to interviews and
They
they've got
do.
the same issue.
They do, and
that
that's
women
what we've
do.
heard.
Yeah.
We heard a lot of people say, "Oh, that's great. Where's the men's program?"
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we have a focus and a mission, but again, leaving your ear open for the community is what nonprofit work is about. So if there's a need for gentlemen, there's definitely someone who's as qualified as we are in helping women to help us help men. So there may be a Lester's closet or a Boaz's closet, coming in the future.
I like that.
But
Right.
we want to make sure in the meantime, although we don't have the boutique program for gentlemen, we are already assisting them, and Heaven has been working with them through the upskill program with Prosper Waco in doing some of the core training and upskill opportunities that are available. So we're already touching them, and that way when that pipeline really opens and we have someone who can support that part of the operation, we will steer those gentlemen into that office and provide them those same services.
Your Women of Distinction luncheon, though, is coming up at the end of the month, right?
It is August 31st. We will be at the Baylor Club from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to open the doors at 11:30 for a little bit of networking, but the program will start officially at noon.
All right, and it will be a motivational one. I mean, people will be inspired. Pat Miller, I had the opportunity to sort of interview her in the way that I will coming up at this event to hear her story and the struggles. I mean, there are struggles along the way.
There are. I don't think you could find anyone who's had a perfect life. And that's the thing. And even in social media, you see what people want you to see. And so many of our clients are younger, and they may be on social media. They may see things that are happening or wish that they could have a lifestyle that they see someone else presenting out there. And this is a real practical way to say that, nothing comes without hard work. You have to enter into a certain point and build yourself. No one started on top. So that's what we hope that those ladies of distinction share with us, that they didn't start out where they are, that it took them some time. And we hope that not only they encourage our clients to continue to push for success, but that those who are supporters and would be supporters of Esther's Closet look at the importance of empowering our community's women and how that builds a stronger community, and look at Esther's Closet as one of the ways that they can support that.
Yeah, in a very important way. And so you're still open to taking table sponsors?
Table sponsors along with individual tickets. So we have empowerment supporters, we have success sponsors, we have suiting sponsors, and those are just our names to collaborate with our event.
Very good. And of course, you got a nice big venue there at the Baylor Club, and it'll be a tremendous event. I mean, you had, like you said, COVID sort of put the
brakes,
the kibosh on so many events that were planned, and so this is going to be well worth the wait that we have had to take.
Absolutely. And I want to share one more thing. And because we're at the Baylor Club, you mentioned the space. Absolutely. We will be in the large ballroom. So there will be social distancing.
Sure.
There will be walking room. You will be able to sit if you've come with your group and still enjoy the program without feeling like you have to be right in front of everyone else and chatting with them. So we will be as safe as possible, but we feel we cannot sacrifice the success of the clients because of the environment that we're in. We have to continue pushing. We have to continue moving that program forward, because we can't sit and wait until COVID's over to do something for the women in our community.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a long wait. I think this is something we're going to have to learn how to live with.
Yeah,
I'm afraid, and I want to talk a little bit about that because COVID has changed so much where the workplace is involved. Have you noticed that as well with the folks you're dealing with?
Absolutely. The number one indicator that we saw after, I would say, spring break of 2020 is that participation in the program stopped. It came to a halt. People stopped coming into the building because there were shutdowns, or you may have lost your job. Now you're unemployed, or your kids are home. So we saw use of the program dwindle. And for us, we're wondering what's going on with the clients. It's not as important to us to get clothes out the door as it is to find out why people aren't using services. So we know there's something going on in the lives of our community members and especially our clients when they're not coming through the door. We went from maybe 40 people a month to one every 4 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we've just begun, I would say since Heaven's been back especially, she's been a critical part of doing one-on-one contact and connecting with them. And so when you hear someone say, I'm here, I'm a person you can sit down and talk with, that makes it easier to set an appointment or say, I'll stop in when you're there. But people needed to know that we were still there, that Esther's Closet is still moving. And that's also, again, getting the awareness out at this event is that we are still moving during these times. And if your jobs have transitioned, the other thing that we've noticed that some people are working from home and they're doing different things now, that may open up the door to the workforce development. Maybe you don't need the clothing at this moment, but maybe you need additional training for your new job. Or maybe you were put out of a job and now you need the training to find another one.
To find a new one.
So
but,
it
and
helps.
of course, with all the Zoom meetings, you got to dress the top half.
From the
you
waist
may be
up.
in your pajama bottoms and nobody knows, but
We can get you a great blouse and a great set of earrings.
right. But yeah, you still got to get somewhat dressed up.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Girl, real talk. This whole it's new year, time to reinvent myself trash is not the vibe for 2024. You can find someone who loves you for you, as you are. You don't need to read a stack of self-help books, only eat sad salads, or start meditating at 5 a.m. to be ready for dating. So yeah, my advice is to download Bumble and find someone who embraces you the way you are right now. Let me know how it goes.
Oh, well, so how can folks get tickets or learn more information about the event?
Absolutely. The best way to call and reach us at our office, it is 254-235-3204. We are there Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3, but you are welcome to leave a message. If you'd like to go direct and you have no questions and you'd like to just go ahead and purchase, please go to our website. It is www.syntexchamber.com. We have an Esther's Closet tab there, and you can find the information that you need for the event to register.
And if somebody wants to donate garments, do you have some rules, on that?
So currently we do every second Friday of the month from 10 to 2 at our building. It's 1020 Elm Avenue, and we're on the Quinn campus, and it's building 700 right to the left of the multipurpose building. So currently we are requiring that clothes are freshly laundered along with being on hangers and making sure that they're business wear.
Business appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the most of it. And I want to assure people that as we get overflow, one of the biggest things is we work with partners to donate out that overflow. So even if it's non-professional or it's out of season, we will find a good home for it.
Okay, good. I was going to ask that because some donation sites like it. Well, if it's not in the right season, you can just forget it. So you'll go ahead and take, because you have people year round.
Absolutely.
Right. Very good. Well, I like to end these visits with a questionnaire. It's similar to the one the late great James Lipton used on Inside the Actor's Studio. So we're kind of alternate between the two of you, and I'll start with Heaven. What is your favorite word?
Wow, I've never actually thought about this.
Good question.
Definitely a good question. I say literally a lot. Literally. So just in general, general conversation, I always find myself saying the word literally because it's just literally. Great little pun on everything, and it's just a continuation.
That's right. Little punctuation there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have a favorite word?
Well, when you ask her, the first word that came to my mind was love.
Yeah.
I think that's a word I say every day, several times a day. Yeah. I tell my family I love them. I tell good friends that I love them. And it just makes you feel good to say it and to hear it said to you.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your least favorite word then, Rachel?
Hate.
Yeah.
And I tell my son, I have a 6-year-old, he loves to say hate. That may be his favorite word.
I hate that, or I hate,
hate
food or whatever.
I tell him to reserve hate for something that truly deserves to be hated. Don't put the label hate on everything. We don't want to hate things, but I hate people that abuse children and elderly people. So
there you go.
Like when it's extreme and it's bad, yes, you can say it, but we don't want to throw it around all the time. We like to love.
Yeah. What about you? Have a least favorite word?
I think hate is a very strong word. I do agree. And that would probably be my word that I do not enjoy using at all.
Right. Right. What turns you on creatively, emotionally, or spiritually, Heaven? Heaven turns me on. I'll go ahead and answer the question, but go ahead.
I really think reassurance. Everybody needs to hear that they're loved or hear that they are appreciated, and that's just huge. And I try to reassure my friends, my family, people I work with. Being around people, you can feel down even when others not knowing what's going on in your life. So the reassurance is huge.
Yeah, yeah. What about you? What turns you on, Rachel?
What turns me on is stimulating conversation. And I get so excited. And I'm sure Heaven and my crew at the office can tell you some of the things we talk about with work, like economic development, is stimulating.
Sure.
And I get excited about the things that are happening and the opportunities that we can share and put out there. So stimulating conversation, whether we're at church, we're at work, or we're on a road trip, that gets me excited.
Now, you've always had a passion for helping women and minorities, but also the small business owner, entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am a Waco native. And so to see our community transform over the past 40 years is remarkable, but it also puts you in a perfect position to understand what hasn't been changed, what needs to be changed in our support of businesses of color, equity in our community for development, for wealth, for wages. Those things are all important. Waco is such a magical place and always has been. But when people started seeing that from the outside, it became even more uncomfortable for those people who lived here that weren't quite at the level that they wanted to be at. So that squeeze has intensified. And so being able to help people through entrepreneurship is just one way to create generational wealth.
Heaven, what turns you off then creatively? Or spiritually or emotionally?
Wow. I really think that a big turnoff for me would be when people cannot discuss and communicate. I think communication is definitely the hugest way to communicate. We have to have communication in everything we do. So when we're communicating, whether it be with work, at home, just knowing that, oh, okay, I can simply say this and people will understand and be able to, oh, okay, that works for me, or no, that does not work. So communication is huge.
Very good. What turns you off?
Mean people.
Yeah, mean people. Mean girls.
Mean girls, mean men, mean people. And I say that, but I mean, that can be bullying. That can be someone that is not interested in helping the underdog. And I would say just personally, for me, if I cannot make you laugh, I'm not comfortable being around you. That makes me very uncomfortable.
All right. There's something wrong with them.
It makes me feel that way. It's like something's wrong
with you?
I'm hilarious.
You are delightful and charming, and it is fun. So what sound do you love the most, Heaven?
A sound I would love the most. I find older women who they just hearing their voice, and it's more so the wisdom that they have. Listening to my grandma talk is amazing, and she's just she's very much a simple lady. But hearing people that are older than me talk, I am very tuned in, like locked in. I'm all ears just to hear them speak because they have so much wisdom to share. And me being a early 20-year-old, I need to hear everything. Just learning and living.
It's wonderful that you're willing to receive that you recognize that wisdom that's there. What about you?
Well, for me, it's a tie. The first one I would say would be putting my gas pedal down on the highway and hearing my engine vroom.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All
I
right.
could tell you a
That's
story.
That's the first I've heard that
Yeah, I
one.
could tell
But
you
go
a
ahead.
story about coming back from somewhere and really putting that pedal down, but I won't. But the other is music.
Yeah.
I love old music, and that's something that my mom did that to me on a road trip. We went to Illinois from Texas, and she played one tape. And that was the greatest hits of Otis Redding.
Really?
We listened to side A and side B all the way there and all the way back. And when I came back, Otis Redding has remained my all-time favorite singer. So
Love it.
Motown, all those old Marvin Gaye, Etta James, and
Oh,
Ella
yeah.
Fitzgerald. Like
Yeah.
this, I love old music.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. What is your least favorite sound then?
I'll go first. Being at a cash register and having your card rejected. That is the worst sound I've ever heard.
Yeah, that would be bad.
It's like when it's not approved.
When the chip started, the removal, when you put the chip in and it's wanting you to remove and it does the same noise, you're like, no. I have money. What is going on? And they're like, ma'am, just remove your card. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Is that all it took? Okay.
It's unsettling, I'm telling you.
It's a bad sound. It's a bad sound. All right. What other profession would you want to try? Let's you already have something
my
in mind.
eyes are so big because you take me back to being a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist and a veterinarian. And I decided against being a vet because I was like, I don't like blood and guts. So that's probably not the job for me, although I love animals. But I never stopped wanting to be an artist. And I think that's probably more of who I really am instead of this person that is very corporate. I am more of a free spirit. So it's not just painting. It is poetry. It is book writing. It is all things creative. It just doesn't feel like work when that's what you're doing.
Very good. What about you, Evan?
I was amazed when I went to college and I would hear people speak about what they're going to do in their future and what their majors were. So hearing forestry and like, I'm in political science majors, and that's actually quite normal, and which I did not realize. But the job I've always wanted was to be a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse, and I just knew I couldn't be a nurse. I do not do well with the body parts. I would not remember at all. And then blood, that comes from my mom. My mom was never a blood person. So if like a scraped knee, she's like, we have Band-Aids over there. Yeah. So totally.
Handle it yourself.
Right. So blood, I just knew as much as I would love to help anybody in any situation, being a nurse was not going to work out.
So that's a job you would not want to do.
No, I actually
even though you wanted to do.
Right. I would love to be a nurse.
Well, then what do you know then, Rachel, that you would not want to do?
Oh man. Wow. Okay. I feel ashamed saying this, but first let me say to every service member, thank you for your service. I don't believe I could be in the military. Yeah. I don't think that I have the mental fortitude to go through some of the things that some of our service people have to. And it is sometimes a job that they don't get thanked often enough for, but it is one of the most important. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you answer the question what you wanted to?
Well, I told you what I liked, and you said, what job do I think I couldn't do? I don't think that job would be for me.
Okay, I got you. All right, finally, what do you want to hear God say as you arrive at the pearly gates?
Which house do you want?
Okay. They're all mansions.
It's like, yeah, which mansion do you want? That's all.
Roads of gold.
Yeah. What about you, Heaven?
Wow.
When heaven gets to heaven.
That you are welcome to come in, my child.
All right.
Definitely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. It has been a delight to talk with you both, Rachel and Heaven, both with the Syntax African American Chamber of Commerce, Esther's Closet, which is one of the missions of the Chamber. And this event, again, is coming up on the 31st of August at the Baylor Club.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the number where they can go to get tickets.
254-235-3204.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Ann.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast. I don't even know my favorite. It's my favorite word. It's love.
Well,
It's love.
I love that your favorite word
Yeah,
is
is
love.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and you can ask her the next.
Okay. What's your least favorite word?
Well, I have to go with what I've heard many, many times from many, many people. That's can't. Can't do that. I just can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's I don't know, part of the reason I don't tell anybody no.
Ah.
Because I'm thinking, well, it means I can't do it. But no, I don't like just the sense of not trying something.
Gotcha.
Good to know. So, Anne, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh man, honestly, I've never really thought about these.
These are good questions. Like I may ask someone these.
What turns me on creative? Doing this.
You look so
really
happy.
I love hearing from people. Love hearing what motivates them, what turns them on. I love hearing people tell stories of things that they've just gotten a burden for a need and then took those steps to say, okay, it's like the Lord put on their heart, that there's a need. And then it becomes this amazing thing.
Yeah.
And Esther's Closet's a perfect example.
I was just going to, you said,
it was a simple, somebody needs this. And now it's this big thing. We're having this big, luncheon. And, who would have, I'm sure she
Only
would
God
have dreamed, what it could become and how much
right.
better it's going to be, in years hence.
Long after we're gone, it'll be phenomenally big.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and answer what turns me off. Okay. I kind of know these questions.
Oh, right.
Just a negativity, just being real, just negativity about stuff. I just I'd rather see a glass, half full, consider it's half full.
I think that's what the mean people bring is the negativity.
I think so too.
Very unpleasant to be around. So, what sound do you love the most?
I think my kids saying, "I love you, Mom."
Oh.
And they're old now. They're grown men. I still love it. And so now I have little granddaughters, say, "I love you." I love hearing that.
Too cute.
I got to follow up. What do your grandchildren call you?
Gran.
Nice.
Gran, but it's spelled Grann.
Yeah, but
it's my name with a "gur" in the front.
I like it.
I love it.
Because most people want to be Mimi and
Nana. Yeah, right. Well, the other mothers, they took Mimi right away. I was going to be Mimi. No, I guess not. So I'll be Gran.
Gran is so great. And just from one of my shows, Charmed, their grandmother was Gran. So you're good.
Well, and it's apparently kind of a British thing. We watch a lot of British TV, and they refer to grandmothers as Gran. But didn't realize that my aunt had a precious friend in Temple, and who would make pecan pies, and we go see her. Well, her granddaughter, who was, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, she'd call her Gran. She'd say Gran, and it was so cute the way I thought, that's what I want to be.
I want to be a Gran.
I want to be Gran because of Dorothy's granddaughter.
I love that. I love that. So least favorite sound?
Nails on a blackboard. I'd say probably that. I just thinking about it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's not a good sound.
So, what other profession would you like to try?
Television news anchor.
No.
No. Yeah, don't do that. Whatever. Probably Broadway singer. I don't know.
Do you sing?
I try to sing. What? Well, you know what? I wanted to be a private detective. I read it when I was a kid. I read this book about a female detective, and we watched a lot of detective shows and stuff. Yeah. I couldn't go undercover too easily. Too many people know I
a wig and a hat.
Right. I have to disguise up pretty well, but this guy in Waco I couldn't very well.
Oh no.
No. You have to go outside of town.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what do you know you wouldn't want to do?
Well, I have to say, and I adore my kids' teachers and all my teachers, but I just don't think teaching.
I'm trying
to I have such admiration. Well, I have such admiration for them, but no.
Fair enough. It's like it's love that you're there, but it couldn't be me. It's not for me.
Right.
All right. And there is one more question. I'll let heaven ask you the heavenly question.
All right. What do you want to hear God say to you as you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, I would hope he says, well done, my good and faithful servant.
That is.
But I've heard that
awesome.
many times too.
We all hope that he says,
Yeah.
don't go away or you're in the wrong place.
I'll never. Of course, comedian Robin Williams answered that on the show, on James Lipton's show, and his response was, "You here so soon?"
That is one.
So I don't think I want.
Yeah, that's
you
a
here
no.
so soon.
No.
So anyway, but yeah, aren't those fun?
They really are, and thank you for letting us interview. And it's fun to see you light up on the other side of the mic when you are the subject.
You're
Yes.
sweet.
Yes,
You're sweet.
ma'am.
It's been fun, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.